Chicago, a city forged in fire, sculpted by innovation, and crowned with audacious towers that pierce the heavens. Once a swampy frontier town, it rose from the ashes of catastrophe to become the birthplace of the skyscraper and a living museum of architectural genius. This is the story of a metropolis that dared to redefine the limits of design, brick by brick, beam by beam. 1. The Great Chicago Fire and Phoenix Rising, 1871–1880s. In October 1871, a catastrophic inferno devoured 17,000 buildings and left 100,000 homeless. Flames swallowed wooden structures and even the stone Chicago Water Tower, one of the few survivors. But from the smoke emerged a radical vision, a city rebuilt not in wood, but in steel and ambition. Architects like William Le Baron Jenney seized this blank canvas. In 1885, Jenney's home insurance building, the world's first true skyscraper, rose 10 stories high, its revolutionary steel skeleton defying gravity. This wasn't just a building, it was a manifesto for modernity. The Chicago School and the Birth of Skyscrapers, 1880s–1900. The Chicago School wasn't just a style, it was a rebellion. Architects tossed aside European traditions to create a distinctly American architecture. Louis Sullivan, the movement's poet-philosopher, declared, "Form ever follows function," a mantra etched into his Carson Pirie Scott building, 1899. Its ornate terracotta facade, swirling with organic motifs, masked a cutting-edge steel frame. Meanwhile, Daniel Burnham and John Root redefined urban spaces with the Rookery, 1888, where a luminous glass atrium bathed offices in natural light, a radical idea in the age of gas lamps. Architect spotlight, William Le Baron Jenney. Trained in Paris's École des Beaux-Arts, Jenney combined French engineering with American pragmatism. His steel frame concept became the DNA of every skyscraper since. The Chicago School wasn't just a style, it was a rebellion. Architects tossed aside European traditions to create a distinctly American architecture. Louis Sullivan, the movement's poet-philosopher, declared, "Form ever follows function," a mantra etched into his Carson Pirie Scott building, 1899. Its ornate terracotta facade, swirling with organic motifs, masked a cutting-edge steel frame. Meanwhile, Daniel Burnham and John Root redefined urban spaces with the Rookery, 1888, where a luminous glass atrium bathed offices in natural light, a radical idea in the age of gas lamps. Building deep dive, the Rookery's Light Court. Frank Lloyd Wright later redesigned its lobby in 1905, adding gilded geometric patterns that fused prairie simplicity with Burnham's grandeur. 3. The 1893 World's Fair, a clash of visions. To celebrate Columbus's arrival, Chicago hosted the world's Columbian Exposition, a dazzling, white city of neoclassical temples and lagoons. Designed by Burnham and Frederick Law Olmsted, it drew 27 million visitors. Yet, this fair sparked a debate: was architecture about beauty or utility? While the fair's temporary plaster palaces glorified history, the Reliance Building, 1895, a glass-clad marvel by Burnham and Charles Atwood, answered with a resounding both. Its delicate bay windows and terracotta lace proved modernity could be breathtaking. Legacy, Museum of Science and Industry, the fair's only surviving structure, originally the Palace of Fine Arts, now houses interactive exhibits beneath its domed rotunda. 4. Frank Lloyd Wright and the Prairie School, 1900s–1920s. Frank Lloyd Wright, Sullivan's protégé, rejected verticality. Inspired by the Midwest's flat expanse, he crafted the Prairie School, homes that hugged the earth. The Robe House, 1910, with its cantilevered roofs and art-glass windows, flowed seamlessly into its environment. Wright's Unity Temple, 1908, in Oak Park, a concrete masterpiece with stained-glass skylights, reimagined sacred spaces as minimalist sanctuaries. Yet, Wright's genius was matched by his ego. He famously called New York's skyscrapers puny compared to Chicago's. Design philosophy: Wright believed in organic architecture, structures harmonizing with humanity and nature. His open floor plans and hidden entryways created intimacy in an industrializing world. 5. Art Deco extravagance and the Jazz Age, 1920s, 1930s. The Roaring Twenties brought a fever for glamour. Art Deco's zigzags, sunbursts, and chrome details adorned Chicago's skyline. The Chicago Board of Trade Building, 1930, crowned by a 31-foot statue of Ceres, goddess of agriculture, mixed deco flair with capitalist might. Inside, trading pits roared with speculators. Meanwhile, the Palmer House Hotel, 1925, dazzled with its peacock door, a bronze masterpiece by Louis Comfort Tiffany, and a lobby dripping in gold leaf. These buildings weren't just structures, they were declarations of optimism after World War I. Hidden Gem, Carbide and Carbon Building, 1929. A 37-story Art Deco gem clad in black granite and green terracotta, designed to resemble a champagne bottle. 6. Mies van der Rohe and the Modernist Revolution, 1940s, 1970s. Post-World War II, Chicago embraced minimalism. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, a Bauhaus exile, declared less is more. His 860-880 Lake Shore Drive, 1951, twin glass towers on stilts, epitomized the international style. Critics called them cold, but Mies argued they revealed the skin and bones of architecture. Meanwhile, Bertrand Goldberg's Marina City, 1964, with its circular, corn-cob towers, fused brutalism with whimsy. Each floor housed apartments, offices, and even a marina, a self-contained city in the sky. Controversy: Mies's Farnsworth House, 1951, a glass box in rural Illinois, sparked lawsuits. Client Edith Farnsworth called it unlivable, architects hailed it as a masterpiece. 7. The Skyscraper Arms Race, 1970s, 2000s. In 1973, the Sears Tower, now Willis Tower, claimed the title of world's tallest building. Engineer Fazlur Rahman Khan's bundled tube design, 9 steel columns fused into one, allowed it to sway gently in the wind. At 1,450 feet, its skydeck became a symbol of American ambition. The 1980s brought postmodern playfulness. Helmut John S. James R. Thompson Center, 1985, a glass rotunda with a kaleidoscopic atrium, contrasted starkly with Mies's austerity. Engineering marvel: John Hancock Center, 1969. Kahn's X-braced exterior eliminated the need for interior columns, creating vast open spaces. 8. The 21st century, green towers and urban revival. Today, Chicago leads the green revolution. Jean Gang's Aqua Tower, 2009, uses undulating balconies to reduce wind shear and shade interiors. Its rippling facade, inspired by Great Lakes limestone, merges art with ecology. The St. Regis Chicago, 2020, Gang's 1,191-foot Titan, twists like a glacier, its faceted glass reflecting the river below. Meanwhile, the Chicago River Walk, a 1.25-mile pedestrian oasis, transformed industrial banks into parks, cafes, and kayak launches, proving cities can reclaim their waterways. Sustainability Spotlight: Willis Tower Retrofit, a $500 million renovation added solar panels, rainwater recycling, and energy-efficient glass, slashing its carbon footprint by 80%. From Jenny's steel bones to Gang's eco-conscious curves, Chicago's skyline is a chronicle of human audacity. Each era's architects didn't just build, they questioned, provoked, and dreamed. As the city marches toward its third century, one truth remains: Chicago doesn't just create landmarks. It writes the future in iron, glass, and light. Next time you walk these streets, look up. Every tower has a tale.